Alright folks, I think some people were a little bit disappointed in my FIREFLY FF338 review from maybe a couple of years ago when they first started appearing. And so since they just had these up on Amazon for a couple of days for a sale of $159, which is only $20 more than the initial price when they first introduced them at $139 on Amazon, there was an absolute uproar about them. Since it's only $20 more, I decided to grab one and do sort of a second opinion, another look at this particular guitar that so many people like. So what do I think of it the second time round? Well, maybe I got a slightly better model this time. Now, there was a big problem that will put a lot of people off when I got this out of the box, and maybe I should have left it how it was, so you could hear what that problem is, although it wouldn't have sounded very nice through your laptop headphones. And that was, this was backbowed, and pretty severely backbowed. So that when I played down here, in the cowboy chord position, it just thunk, thunk, thunk. It was just, there was just no articulation of sound. It sounded absolutely horrible. And that's because, you know, it was backbowed to where this part of the neck right here was out here, and the rest was, you know, bananaed backwards. So you just didn't get any sound this part of the neck. Now it took me a couple of truss rod turns to get that back bow out and straighten the neck. And now that I've done that, and that's all I've done, the action is actually pretty good. It's about right where you want it. Now I do feel a little bit of sharp fret ends. Those people that say these arrive perfectly, well, maybe you live in a humid area, but I live in a drier state at the moment, and the wood shrinks, the metal doesn't, so I always get a bit of fret sprout, and there certainly is on this guitar, particularly up here towards the body. I, as you can see, got the green matte version this time. Last time I got a gloss. From a distance, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's a nice, pleasing green with the cream binding and bound F-holes, black pick guard. It's pretty decent, actually. Here you got the back. You can see that it's arched or slightly arched. The back button right here, the binding going all the way across the back, so you get the lines popping out. The neck is bound as well. Rosewood fretboard with the typical inlays, the trapezoid inlays on this. I didn't even take the label off yet, straight out of the box. Very typical tuners, nothing special there. Blacked out headstock. There's the FIREFLY design. Now let me talk about the FIREFLY design for a minute. People argue about that. I don't really think it's that great of a logo. I think they could do so much better than that. Look at that. I mean, it's pretty minimal effort. I mean, you've got two words in your logo, in your title, in the name of your company, fire and fly. Just think of what you could do. Or even if you use the whole composite word, FIREFLY. You know, little fireflies that glow. You could do something really neat with the headstock logo, and they've just kind of bypassed that. Maybe it's just to keep the cost down, I don't know. Now these, over the last couple of years, have pretty much gone up to more of the $225, $250 range. It's on sale at the moment at Amazon, but it won't last. I think they're just blowing out probably some old stock, some old colors. So it's more of a $225, $250 semi-hollow guitar, and it puts it in good company with all the ones that I've been showing lately. The IYV one, which I did in a couple of videos back. I might do a comparison between the two in a little while. You know, the Zhuwei, you know, the Ert, the Indio Boardwork. There's a whole slew of them. Javier makes some semi-hollows, and they're all somewhere between 200 and 400, somewhere in that area. I think Latitude's now got one. It's more like 400, but they're in the game. So where does this sit? Well, maybe I'm not going to be as harsh on it as I was the last time. However, I will say that since I just got that IYV guitar, the Tobacco Burst one, the IJZ 300 is it? And this one, I have to say that IYV is a better guitar. Now that one's now $225, and this one's $159 or $179 depending on where you're buying it, and that's a limited sale price. So this is cheaper at the moment, but that won't last. They're basically the same price guitars, and I think that guitar is better. I think it has a better build quality. I think it has a better finish. I like the neck on it better. And I probably like the pickups better, although these pickups aren't bad at all. Let's listen to them a little bit. So this is the neck. Variants going to the first two settings, the bridge and the combined sound pretty close, which tells me that this one is slightly dominant in the mix. Now when you switch purely to the bridge pickup by itself, there's a big shift in sound. I don't think it quite has the range across the 3 pickups that some of the others have, but it's pretty decent. It's not bad. Close up you can see some imperfections, and this matte green is probably not as pleasing close up than it is far. It looks great from a distance, but when you get up close you can see dust and stuff picks up on it pretty easily, and it is really flat. It's a really flat paint color, almost like something you'd paint your bathroom. That quality of paint, not necessarily this color. And of course they've done the neck as well, and the headstock, at least the back of the headstock, the front is blacked out. So I don't think the finish is bad. I don't think it's great. I almost wish I'd got a gloss green, because that's the same price. However, I wanted to look at one of their matte models. But let's consider it without comparing it to others. It's certainly better than that Zouwei I had recently anyway, by way of comparison. But on its own merits, if you can get it at this current sale price, this is a bargain. It's a great deal. You will have to do a bit of setup, particularly fret ends. But it is a bargain guitar, and you can always mod out the pickups to get your the sound that you want. But you've got a lot to work with here. Some people switch out the stop tail bridge as well and put different hardware on it, or tuners. But it's got everything that you need. Everything functions just fine. Nothing is high-end on it, but nothing is glaringly cheap either. I think it's pretty well spec'd out for your $160, $180, $200 guitar. Once you start getting up to $250, I'm less pleased with it. But under 200 or 200 thereabouts, I don't think it's a bad guitar at all. And it's certainly better than the first one I got in terms of condition. I was a bit grumpy on that very first Firefly review because I got one that needed wrestling and it had a neck warpage, and I got another one from them that had a slightly twisted neck, and so they kind of created a wrong impression with me to start out. And then recently I had the Pegasus model that I raved about. I thought that was a really good guitar. It was the best one I've had from Firefly. And this one, although not as good as the Pegasus, certainly is a lot better than the one that I tried out 3 years ago when they first came out. So I'm wondering if that's just the luck of the draw or if they've improved these as they go from run to run. As you know, Firefly is one of these companies that puts out short runs of these guitars And one positive aspect of that kind of model of business is that between runs you can possibly tweak things about the guitar that you're getting complaints about. In other words, you know, if there's a color somebody hates or a finish somebody hates, then you can switch that out, you know, on your next run. Or you can try different configurations of hardware, pickups, that kind of stuff, possibly. So you will find some variation between runs. I certainly find that with the IYV guitars, and maybe I'm starting to see it a little bit with the Firefly guitars as well. You get these from Guitar Garden, or you can buy them on eBay if you want to pay the markup price. Or you can buy them, they're back on Amazon now, and that's where the sale price of $159 for the green one only for some reason. Maybe they just have a ton of them. Either the gloss or the matte is currently on sale for $159 free shipping on Amazon. Hopefully that will continue to when this video comes out, but they have a habit of changing all the time. So it might go back up to $179 or $229 or wherever it's supposed to be the normal price. But anyway, semi-hollow, center block, bound F-holes, all maple construction, very basic humbucker pickups, just their own brand. Nothing special, but not terrible. Decent rosewood fretboards, all bound. Cheap tuners, but they if you dial in the nut, they usually hold. You might want to upgrade them though. Basic stop piece, tail piece. Probably the minimum in terms of, you know, pot size. I hear a lot of people complaining about the small dime pots in a lot of these cheap guitars, but what do you want, you know, for $150, $200? You know, so you're not getting shielded wiring. You're not getting the biggest or best pots. You're not getting the best pickups. You're not getting the best hardware on the guitar. But a lot of people buy these and just switch that stuff out. They just, you know, use the body and make a better guitar out of it. And the company knows that. They know all about that. If you go on the Firefly eBay group page, you know, there's people showing pictures of their mods, and Firefly, you know, responds sometimes to those posts. So they know that these are, you know, modded guitars. And I think that's why they keep them cheap, and they keep the hardware, you know, at an acceptable but cheap level to where they can keep the guitars cheap, going for less money. But anyway, there you go. This is the FF338 from Firefly in matte green. No gig bag. That's one thing Firefly can fix. Get yourself a nice Firefly gig bag with that Firefly or Flamefly logo that you could create if you had some imagination, and then these things would really pop. And you could even, you know, add $20 to the price. Instead of $159, sell them for $179 or $189 with a really nice deluxe padded gig bag. Come on, get with it. All right, folks. See you on the next one.